trading platform like Kite is called Fires, and in Fires the APIs are completely free, so you can test and try. So, like any trading terminal, we have to log in. So we are logging in using Fires Web, and I will share the user credentials in the chat. Once we click on Fire Webs, you get this graph. Now, what we're looking for is on the left, the different type of price representation. You have line, area, and others. The candle that we're looking for is Heikin Ashi. If you click on Heikin Ashi, this is a Heikin Ashi candle. Every candle is also a time frame, and the time frame that we're looking for is 15 minutes. Now, what we have to do is that this is the price action for this instrument. So what is this instrument? It is Nifty June 22nd June 15,100 CE. So for the time being, let's keep the instrument separate. You need not understand the instrument. You just need to get the price details. So what we need from the API is to get the instrument name and the price so that we can execute the order. So this is the trading screen for doing the trade. In other words, I can buy, I can sell at any given point in time. Now, before we buy and sell, there are certain principles or strategies that we need to execute. If you look at this graph, it is falling from top to bottom. Now, anyone could have entered here, here. What the strategy defines is at what point one needs to enter. So in order to do that, we also include one more graph, which is called volume. Select volume, this comes. And this shows up here in the bottom. So this volume indicates the amount of buy or sell users are executing. At what time? As you have selected 15 minutes in 15 minutes timeline. In the volume graph, if you see, it goes up and down depending on how the users are selling. Now, if you look at it from a graph standpoint, the volume has been pretty less, almost like this is from the, if you see the calendar, from 1st June till I would say 17th June, the volume has been pretty, or let's take it, or 16th June has been pretty less. And thereafter, it is picking it up. Now, as it is option from an instrument standpoint, volume picks up when it is close to the expiry. So what does expiry mean? When we say 22nd June, it means the last Thursday, all the contracts, means whatever instrument you have bought or sell, have to be squared up. What does square up mean? Square up means you have to close the position because new series of contract will get initiated from July. So in other words, this price action indicates that a lot of people generally trade in the last week of the expiry of the contract. Now, coming back to the volume, in the volume, there is one more indicator that we can include, and just simply right click on it and then go to settings, something called MA length. MA stands for moving average length, and we keep it here 30 or 20. And style is, of course, we'll keep it line so that we get a better view. Okay. Now, as per the algo, there are two things that you have to keep in mind. So the algo is whenever the bar, which is the volume bar, crosses the moving average, and it should cross the first time. So let's look at this graph. Okay. Now let's understand. Now we just turned on the algo now. It's because an algo has to be started. We started the algo, say at any time. it will wait for the first 15 minutes candle volume candle to form. And in case the first 15 minutes volume candle, let's say, is touching or above this black line called the moving average, depending on the candle color. So let's understand in this 15 minutes, let's say we enter the trade at 10 o'clock. Let's say we turn on the algo at 9:45. A candle will form from 9:45 to 10, will not execute that. Then what happens is that there's a candle formation that happens in 10. Now this red bar is above the black moving average. And second, look at the candle color of Heikin Ashi. It is red. So whenever it is red and this volume indicator is above, irrespective of this color, whether it is green or red, but it should be above or equal to moving average, it will execute an order. So the order would be, in case this candle, Heikin Ashi candle is red, it will execute a sell order. So in other words, there are two indicators to keep in mind. Number one, the volume bar should cross the moving average. And second is the color of the Heikin Ashi candle. If Heikin Ashi candle is red, it will execute sell. If Heikin Ashi candle is green, it will execute a buy. Now, the question is, once we execute the sell, when this will exit the trade. So when we execute the sell here, it will be sell here, it would be sell here, it would be sell here, it would be sell here. Whenever the Heikin Ashi candle changes its color, it will close the trade. In other words, from here to here, which is this candle, it will be in sell mode, and the moment it becomes green, it will become a buy. So let's understand in the first trade how many points were achieved. So if you see this candle, this is the candle that we entered. And if you want to know the buy and the close price, see what you can do is that you can see on the top here the close price. So the first candle, O was open, H was high, L for low, close for the close candle. The close was at 430.40. This was the price of the instrument. And we exited in this candle because the next candle became green. We exited at close of a 383. This 383.50. So let me confirm. We entered at 430 and exited at 383, which is close to a 50 point benefit. Now again, if we enter here, we will be in the trade till this becomes red. So in other words, it is buy and we bought at the close of 383, and again this candle becomes red. We exit with a close of 387. In other words, we made a profit of 4 points. And again we get into buy mode because the next candle was buy and continue till it becomes red. Now see what happens is that when we buy here, the close was 397 on the top. If you see the close here, when we buy here, the close was 397 and we will sell at 392. So we lost 5 points. So in this, if you look at the trade, in some trades we'll make good profits and in some trades we will make loss profits. But what will happen is that the net loss will be less than the net profits that we are making. So let me close it and explain it again. So I will remove everything from here. Okay, great. So if you look at this instrument, we can put as many instruments as possible. So this is a panel where you can put stocks also. If you're just giving an example, let's say Starter, not showing stocks, let me see. We can get the different instruments here. So right now we're focused on options and gas futures. So I'm just giving an example of what is Heikin Ashi. So if you select an instrument here, this will give you a price chart. So in the price chart, you can do line. So the same thing can be represented by a line. It can be represented by an area. What we're looking for is Heikin Ashi. So this is a Heikin Ashi candle. Now, in order to understand Heikin Ashi, what it represents is it represents the price movement in the first price movements across a 15 minutes timeline. Heikin Ashi candles are used primarily for algo trading because it helps us to capture trend. What is the trend? I got logged out here. What is this trend? The trend is if it goes down, we can see it's going down massively, so you can track it. If it goes up, we can track when it goes up. So Heikin Ashi candle helps us to identify large price movements. So the first is the Heikin Ashi candle. The second thing that we do is the volume. How to get the volume? If you go FX, FX stands for function, and these are different indicators. And for every indicator, we can do an algo that almost like close to 150 different indicators. A lot of people use a combination of 2 or 3 different indicators. For the time being, we're using an indicator called volume, and this shows up here. And in the volume indicator, we select from the settings moving average so that we pick up a high volume trade because volume decides the price action. If there's a high volume, the movement will be high. High volume trade and then execute the order. And the algo is whenever we entered the order, first, it will wait for the 15 minutes candle formation. After the 15 minutes candle formation happens, it has to look for 2 conditions. Condition number 1, the volume line should be higher than the moving average. And number 2, the color of the Heikin Ashi candle. If the color is green, it will initiate a buy. If the color is red, it will initiate the sell. And whenever Heikin Ashi candle changes, it will change the order from buy to sell. In case it was green in buy, it becomes red, it will sell. If it was red earlier, which was in sell mode, and then it will buy. And this is the algo that we have to execute using a Fires platform. So earlier we were thinking of using Kite. Now we'll use Fires. So this is the simple principle of creating an algo using Heikin Ashi candle and the volume indicator with the moving average. Great. Thank you. And if you have any questions, you can put me in the WhatsApp group questions and I'll try to respond. I will share the credentials so you can try it out. It is a trial account, so it should not create any problem. Thank you.